I'm starting to record. All right, so this is day 5, and you've been working hard this week if you've been keeping up with what's going on, and that's great. Some of you I know are catching up, and you're sending me emails, and we're giving some feedback and talking back and forth, and all of that is wonderful. I'm still around even after today to answer your questions, and I hope you use the Facebook group as a spot to post your ideas, as a safe place to get some feedback from me and feedback from the group, because we have some wonderful women in this group, and men. We have a few men who are doing the same thing you're doing. They're trying to build a successful business and be that force out in the world, offering a great product and a great service. So today we're going to do another anchoring exercise, but it's really going to be about anchoring externally, all right, giving that social proof. Now that you know the value, now that you know the problems you solve, how do you share that, whether it's verbally with somebody or whether that's through your tools and websites, etc. So this can only be done once you do the first session. So, you know, the mindset is really important. You need to be ready to have people talk about how wonderful you are and to share that social proof. The values that you bring and the problems that you solve, you need to be ready to have people talk about that, because it's always better if other people can share what they've experienced with you than coming from you. But you need to be able to support that in the messaging that you have. You've decided on your price. I know some of you are rethinking, and what I've said to you is don't rethink, redo, because you can spend too much time thinking and then you don't take any action. And I want you to redo. I want you to take action with this. That's the only way that you really can begin to see what will work and what won't for you. And then yesterday we talked a lot about anchoring, and we had you do a double it exercise, and we had you do some anchoring exercises so that you could truly begin to see what it is that you needed to implant in you and how you need to think about pricing so that you aren't continually undercharging and over-delivering. So today I want to talk about social proof, and in your email today, you have this handout called, there's 2 things on there, 16 ways of creating social proof to validate your fees, and 8 ways to use social proof to validate your fees. So I'm just going to walk through that document. If you haven't gotten it yet, email me. I did send out a second round this morning just because I know some people, it's been going to their spam. Please check your spam folder. But let me walk through this list in case you don't have the handout, and I'll add some additional comments as to how I've used them or some of the values that I've found. So first one, interview your client and record it or take notes. I had a conversation with one of my mentees the other day, and she said, you know, I have this client, they had a great experience, and they asked how they could support, and they said, we should do an interview, record an interview. And I said, so did you do it? She goes, well, no, because now I need to hire a videographer. I need to figure out where the setting's going to be. I said, you know what? That's always what we do. We overcomplicate things. Yes, maybe down the road, once you have a bigger practice, you're going to want to have a videographer, and maybe you're going to want to schedule 4 or 5 clients in a day. And if you're that big, you know, go for it. But we have this beautiful thing called Zoom. We have this beautiful thing called iPads and iPhones that can videotape anything. And so what if you just said, let's just sit down, I'll set up my iPad and we'll do an interview, or we'll set up a Zoom meeting and I'll record it. You can use that as well and take notes. You don't even have to take notes. You can review it later. And so when I said that to this client, she says, oh my gosh, my daughter can edit that for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, find a teenager or an early 20s something who knows how to do that stuff, and pretty soon you've got something that you can use. Don't worry about perfect. Done is better than perfect. And that's so many times what I see. We worry about perfect. And in this day of technology, there are so many ways that we can do things and have them done, and then later on worry about perfect. And I know, you know, down the road, you might want to do more of that. So number 2, email testimonial questions, then edit the answers. I do this all the time, and you're actually going to get an email from me that's going to ask for your feedback. And oftentimes when you ask, you know, what did you like? What more would you need? What questions have you answered? What problems did I solve? Those simple questions, you'll get feedback that can be turned into a testimonial. So oftentimes I will ask people, do you mind if I use that as part of a testimonial? And I'm okay if they say yes, I'm okay if they say no. But if they've taken the effort to actually give me some feedback, which again, I hope all of you do, then you will have material to use. And I don't think I've had very many say no. Usually I can edit it down, send it back to them, get their approval that this is something that I can use in a testimonial, and boom, you're done. Now you've got something that you can use on your website. Number 3, video interview clients. Okay, that's a Zoom idea. 4, transcribe video testimonial, and you use both video and written text. There are transcription services that you can use, and somebody was telling me, I don't know the exact link, I'll find it for you, but they were telling me it was like, it was so cheap. They took a Zoom interview, and they sent it off to transcription. Actually, they took one of my podcasts. They wanted to do one of my podcasts. They sent the podcast, which is about 20 to 30 minutes. My podcasts are about 20 to 30 minutes. And they sent it off to transcription. It cost them $16. Out of that, they had, I think she said, 8 different blog post topics that she could identify. She had quotes that she could use on her website that from herself. Okay, but you can do the same thing with a client. If you do a video interview, send it off and have it transcribed versus you trying to transcribe it. Use, number 5, use before and after photos if your service is more visual. You know, I know we have some people here who are doing health products, who are doing cosmetic products. Befores and afters are always good. Number 6, take photos of you working with clients, if that's appropriate, you know, if that's appropriate. But if you are a speaker, have somebody take photos when you're speaking. If you're working in a group, if you're doing training in a group, have somebody take photos of that. Again, you can hire a professional photographer. That's dollars out of your pocket, and you might want to do that down the road. If you're going to hire a professional photographer, I would say do it for your headshots, for your personal photos. I wouldn't start with hiring that for a speaking event, because you can have somebody take some pictures with your iPhone or your whatever phone you use, or your Android phone. Number 7, use your clients' full names. Get their permission to use their full names if you're going to use them in testimonials on your site. And the reason being, sometimes when, I don't know if you've ever found this, but if you go to a website and you have it's Cheryl L. I always think, is there really a Cheryl L, or did she make that up? So using full names adds extra credibility, I believe. Collect statistical information about results your clients experience. You know, how much weight do they lose? How much money do they generate based on doing that? Any numbers and data is also good to those experiential testimonials. 9, take photos of you with colleagues or celebrities in your industry. Okay, step 10, step up to the microphone at events. You know, have you been there? You've been to an event and they say, okay, open to questions. Crickets. Nobody gets up to the microphone. Step up to the microphone. Be seen. You're not there promoting your services, but you're there being seen as a person that's up there. Number 11, offer to be a spotlight or panel participant at events where appropriate. Speaking is one of the biggest things that I did in my building my corporate training and consulting practice. And it is really easy to get speaking events. You just need to identify what's your ideal client, where do they hang out, and then what kinds of events do they go to. Now, for some of you, I don't know if that's a fit. I can be happy to brainstorm with you by email. If you send me, here's my niche market, where do you think I should speak? There's all kinds of resources, and you can Google them. So my expertise in the corporate world was professional service firms, and I started with CPA firms. Guess what? I could Google CPA associations, and I could speak at whatever state I wanted to speak at. They all have application forms. They're all looking for speakers, particularly associations or industry events. They're all looking for speakers. So you need to get your speaking, what's your speaking topic, but more importantly, see if you can be on a panel. That's easier than trying to work out all the speaking stuff. If you're further down the line, then you're going to want to have your speakers packet and be more active and proactive if that's one of your marketing strategies. 12, post a calendar of your events and appearances in your e-Zine. Okay, so if you're somebody out there and you're doing a lot of speaking, make sure you let people know that you're doing that. 13, offer us testimony for someone else to use on their website. Okay, so if you've experienced some services, you're working with another small-owned business, I do that all the time. I want it to come to me, so I want to make sure that I do it for the services that I use. 14, post tips, quotes, and content on social media. Let's talk a little bit about social media. You want to be out there as an expert, but you don't want to be a sales in your face. I'm constantly amazed. I have a large social media audience, large for me, not as large as some people in the world, and I'm amazed when somebody asks to friend me. I usually will say yes, because I love people. I love to expand my network. There's some that are kind of questionable, so I'll say no to them, particularly if it's a gentleman telling me I'm beautiful and they want to connect. But if it's a women-owned small business, if it's any woman, if it's anybody, mostly, I'm happy to connect. But I don't want them to be constantly in my face trying to sell me their product. I want to know that they're a human being, and you wouldn't do that if you walked into a networking event. You wouldn't walk in and say, here I am, let me tell you about my service. Oh, nice to meet you. Want to buy what I'm offering? You probably would be standing there by yourself in pretty short order. You connect with people. You create relationship with people. So tips, quotes, content, what's some things that would be of value to people? Post that on your social media. 15, create client case studies. As you begin to work with clients, again, step by step, you're going to start building things. And as you get successful clients, now you can begin to build case studies. And hopefully they'll let you use their name, but maybe they won't, and that's fine. But you can say, I worked with this person who, this was the problem they were trying to solve. They had been struggling with this problem because I brought value by doing, and then explain your process in a real life case study. And I would even include in those case studies, here's where we struggled, here's where we met resistance, here's what I helped them do to get through that. And number 16, apply for and win awards, okay? If that's available within the groups that you use, if you're involved in community events, that's a great thing to do. But as you get successful clients who achieve the results and solve the problems you promised to receive, you want to add this kind of information to your stories, to your website, to your social media. It will build your confidence, but it also creates social proof for others that this is a valuable resource. Even if you only have one story, even if the first story you have is somebody that you worked with for free, okay? And if you're farther down the line than that, and you've actually worked with several clients, but you've not gathered the stories, you've not gathered the testimonials, time to take a step back. And again, do it step by step. Don't overwhelm yourself with this area, because you want to be out there making sales. But as you work with a client, now it's time to build a story, time to see if you can get a testimonial, and slowly begin to add that. You'll even see that if you go to my straighttalktraining.com. I'm going to talk about that site in a little bit here. But if you go there, you'll see some testimonials. And I just launched the whole straighttalktraining.com in January. And I've been slowly adding more courses to that program. And as I have, people have experienced the courses, and then I ask them their feedback. So you'll see that there's some testimonials there. I just add them one at a time. As they come in, as people are making comments, I add testimonials one at a time. And you'll also notice that in the testimonials, I have full names, and I also have their website, because I want to be able to have other people tap into their services and learn more about the kinds of people who use my services on straighttalktraining.com. So, so remember that it's all a building process, and start from, then you need to shout it from the rooftops. You need to let people know that you're out there. So doing things like speaking, doing things like social media posts, being active in social media, finding the avenues that are right for you and alignment for you is important. But you need to really shout from the rooftops. Here's what I do. Here's the value that I bring, and here's the problems that I solve. So we're not saying, wow, look at me, I'm so wonderful. You're giving them actual real information so that they can make decisions. And I always say they need to they need to know where to put you in their Rolodex. Because when they do, then when they run into other people who have that issue, they can tell you who to call. So Rolodex is an old term. For some of you who are younger, you probably don't remember. Well, we used to have Rolodexes where you would take business cards, or you would take a little small card and you would file them, because we didn't have all the computer technology. And then when you were looking for a person, if you were looking for a painter, you might have that under P for painters, and then you could look that up and you'd say, oh, I know of somebody who does that. That's what I'm saying. They need to know, people in your world need to know what it is that you solve, the value that you bring. Everybody needs to know that, whether they're a customer or not. And they don't even need to know your pricing to do that. But they need to be clear about that and be able to explain that back, so that when they run into somebody, if they're not a current customer, when they run into somebody, they can refer them to you. I have people that I never did business with, but they were major referral sources for me. And I still, to this day, get corporate referrals coming in from those folks, because they know what it is that I do. They know what the fit that I have. And it was great. So educating people on the value you bring, educating people on the problems that you solve, and who's the right client for you is really important. And that's part of this, giving them social proof. Here's the kinds of things that I work with, whether you're posting social media content with tips and ideas, related articles to what it is that you do, or you have testimonials, or you're doing speaking. All of that is a way to say, I'm an expert. People like to hire experts. I'm an expert in this area. I bring great value in this area. And that helps to validate whatever fee it is that you end up talking to them about in the prospecting or sales process, okay? So on the bottom of the page, you see 8 ways to use social proof to validate your fees. Number 1, use testimonials on your web page. Always a good idea. Sprinkle testimonials throughout your webinar. That's a good idea. Include testimonials in a teleseminar. Include case studies in your PowerPoints. Include a testimonial or case study in your e-zine. Put photos of you and your clients on social media. Again, that's why we're creating all those things in the top 16, so you could use them. Add testimonials to your sales page, your sign-up forms, include testimonials in a brochure. You want to tell stories, is the point. You want to tell real people with real results, because your clients, your prospects need to see themselves in that story, and the right ones will show up. Okay, and there's going to be wrong ones that show up. There's going to be ones that go, that's not me, I don't struggle with that. Okay, that's fine. You're looking for the ones that are the right fit for you. They're the right ideal client for you. And the stories help people know that this is the right spot for me. So when you set your fees, this is a part of doing that social proof. So when you're talking with somebody, let's say you're at a networking event, and they say, what do you do? Okay, I help women-owned small businesses grow and build the foundations of their business. And I do this, and let me tell you, so here's an example of somebody that I was just working with last week. You've heard me do this, throughout throughout these 5 days. You've heard me say, and then I was talking with so-and-so. So in some of the stories I'm telling you are not even clients of mine. I'm just giving you examples of the kinds of problems, the kinds of issues that I can answer and address, okay? So I was talking to so-and-so, and they were struggling with asking somebody to get a testimonial, And so we talked about how could they do that. You heard me talk about the videotape thing. Examples and stories help people to see, do I fit? Is this like me? Is this something that I'm struggling with? And that's what you want. That's how you're going to get the right people who are going to pay you what you want. You're going to be able to charge what you're worth because they're the right people and they're looking for the solutions that you bring. Okay? If you have any questions on any of that, again, post questions in the Facebook group or email me, Cheryl@theleadershipenergy.com. Okay, so where are you at? Where are you at now after our 5 days together? You started the week with a score. Remember, I asked you to do a score of your alignment and comfort related to your fees. Okay, so I asked you to determine what would need to happen if you moved that score 2 points. So remember, I asked you, were you at a 1, where you were totally not in alignment with your fees, totally uncomfortable with what you charge, or a 10, where you were totally in alignment, totally in comfort? I'm guessing you might not be at a 10, or you probably wouldn't be at this workshop, at this series. But then I asked you, what would it take to move you 2 points? So if your score was 5, what would it take to move you to a 7? What would you need to do to move to a 7? And that was your goal for the week, was how could I move you? What could you do to begin to move that number higher? And I even said on that first day, if 2 points was too much, what would 1 point look like? Okay. So what I'm wondering, and I want you to ponder, is how did your score move this week? Okay. What was it that you heard this week that helped you to move that score higher? And did you actually take action on that? Because if you don't take action, nothing will happen. You can attend a lot of different workshops. I don't care if it's with me or somebody else. But if you're not taking action, you're never going to get the traction to be able to continue to step up in your business. So what have you done? How have things moved? And I would ask you to post that in the Facebook group. Send me an email if you're not comfortable doing it in a public way. But what has been a tipping point for you? And then where to next? Okay, so I want to invite you to a couple of things. First of all, I think I'm going to try to share my screen. We'll see if that's going to work this morning, because I want to show you my straighttalktraining.com site. So I'm going to straighttalktraining.com. You can too if you so wish. Oops, I gotta get the right words typed in here. There we go. Because I want to show you the site. I want to show you what's happening on the site and how you might, what might be available there for you. And I also have a special offer for you today. So this is the Straight Talk for Smart Business Women Academy that I have set up. And my whole reason in doing this, I've talked to you that I'm a mentor. I see myself as a mentor now. I don't do much individual coaching, but I really want you to be able to get access to the tools that are just the right timing for you in your business. So I know, and I've seen these all the time, there's just tons of things out there where you get this huge package and it includes all these things to build your foundation of your business. And you get all these bonuses, and I appreciate those things. I've signed up for many of those things, but I never end up having time. And it's always like, well, that's good, but that's not what I need. That's good, that's not what I need. So let me scroll down through here and show you the kinds of courses that I offer, and there's going to be more added all the time. So if you have a challenge with your money mindset, I've got a course for that. If you're not clear about your niche and the problems that you solve for your niche and where to find the folks in your niche, yeah, I have a course for that. And the whole reason of having a niche is to make your life easier, so you know where to fish, so you aren't out saying I sell to everybody. Well, you might eventually, but you need to start with something so specific that it's easy for you to find them. Branding with archetypes. This is a great fun course. but it really is helping you understand the brand, because your brand is you. And when you are clear about the uniqueness that you bring, it's going to be easier for you to talk about your services and easier for you to attract the right clients. I always say we can have two different coaches, same training programs, but each of you is unique in the brand that you bring, and branding is the promise that you make to your clients about what it is that you're going to deliver. Signature systems. Do you have a signature system set up for yourself? This course is very powerful in helping you to set up that signature system and get those ideas out of your head into a structured system with clear messages about the benefits to the system you set up. But the course I'm most excited about is how to sign on new clients. So we've spent a lot of time today in the last 5 days talking about pricing, but the other fear, the other issue I hear is the struggle with how to sign on new clients. How do I actually have those conversations? And so I invite you to the How to Sign on New Clients course. If you'll see on the site, each of the courses has a Learn More tab, so you can get in and learn more. But let me tell you about what is covered in that How to Sign on New Clients. Module 1 is going to be creating a client attracting mindset. I always start with mindset because it's the piece that gets in our way. We have to get through that fear. Then module 2 is creating a well of opportunity for potential new clients. Again, getting new clients is really not that tough when you recognize where it is that you need to educate people. So you heard me say a minute ago, you need to have enough people that know what it is that you do and can speak to it, so that they know where to put you in their Rolodex. They may or may not be the right client, but trust me, they are connected to people who will be your right client. So I give you a couple different exercises in that particular module, one being something I call my Magic 100, which have used over and over and over again. It's simple, it's clear, and you can have fun with it because you're creating relationships with people you enjoy connecting with. You don't have to be fearful of that. Number 3, transform your features into rich results. Another great exercise to talk about the process of your program, but also what's the results that they get. And that's what they buy. They don't buy your process. They don't care if there's 4 coaching sessions or 3 months of coaching twice a month. They want the results. So what? What does that mean? So that the exercise there will help that. Number 4 is creating a client attracting high-end offer. Okay, so how do you design that package or program so it attracts new clients? Module 5 is how to discuss the money part of the offer. And in that module, I love that module because I want you to have such an easy time discussing the money that it's as easy as saying pass the salt. And one of the exercises we did yesterday with having you say your price over and over and over, remember I had you say, here's my package and then this is the price, and I wanted you to say that 100 times. Well, the module 5 actually takes that to the next step. And then the final module is how do you set your schedule so that you can make the money you want, you can get the successes you need. So I show you how to set a 30-day bold money goal and then weekly actions, weekly success calendar that will make that happen. One of the challenges we always have is we love doing client work. We're not so fond about doing sales work. And I'm going to show you how I set up my calendar so that I make sure I'm always doing some sales work, always keeping that funnel going so that I can be spending big blocks of time with my clients doing the work that I love to do. So in the Straight Talk training site, and here's the testimonials I talked about and some things about me. I have a newsletter you can sign up for. But all of my courses on the straighttalktraining.com site are $197. And the reason I do that is because I don't want you to spend a ton of money to get the answers you need to build and grow your business. I know I could charge a lot more for these courses, but that doesn't fit what my value is and what my vision is right now for these courses and for you, for the things that I can solve for you. So I keep them all at $197 so that you aren't breaking the bank. You can easily make back that money with some of the tips and ideas and tools that you set in each of the courses. But the how to sign on new clients, I'm doing an introductory price of $147, but that ends this coming Monday, July 30th at 11:59 p.m. So at midnight, Monday, July 30th, $147. I'll include the link so you can get more information, but you can also go to the straighttalktraining.com site. You click the learn more. It takes you to the how to sign on new clients and the more information about the course, as well as the registration options. So the course format is similar to what we've done this week. You get video, you get handouts, you get access to me via email or Facebook group, and I answer quickly. There are times within the sessions, just like this week, that I make sure that I say to you, please send me what it is that you're working on, because I want to give you feedback. Again, $147 for that. So that's it. That's a wrap. It's really been my pleasure being here with you and serving you in your business. I hope you walked away with something that is of value, because I want you to have that same successful, blessed life that I've been able to have by being an entrepreneur. And there's been nothing better for me than to be able to impact other people's lives and at the same time make the money that gives me the freedom and lifestyle to do the things I want to do in my life. So I always end my podcast with keep growing your business, and that's how I'm going to end this one. Keep growing your business. Thank you much.